you know, council could do whatever it wishes, but the law is pretty darn clear. And that's why council should follow the law without expressing some unnecessary sentiment about the county executive. It doesn't matter who the county executive was, what their party was, or none of that. In the first place, council has a policy here that no officials, especially the county executive, should serve on third-party boards. And this county executive has shown that he has a tendency to approach different third parties very, very often in an effort to get involved in their business. We've seen it with the Gaming Authority. We've seen it with Gannon University. We've seen it with Barron. We've seen it with the DEI Commission. We've seen it with Pleasant Ridge Manor. I could go on and on and on. And if ever that policy should be followed, it's with this county executive, so that there's no obvious conflict of interest that is taken advantage of. It seems almost impossible that a county executive could say, I'm going to veto this money, and I'm not going to pay that. I'm not going to authorize the payment of this money to Fly Erie Fund unless I'm on the board. That seems absolutely absurd, selfish, and inappropriate to the procedures and policies of county government.
Attorney Tallarico?
Yes.
If we put the amendment in, that means disallowed for any county officer or employee to serve as a consultant or member of the board for which money would be. Would that be eliminated?
No.
That's not eliminated.
No, he doesn't have the authority to veto that. That's like saying, I don't like the color of money that's going to Fly Erie Fund, so I'm going to veto that. It means nothing. He does not have the authority to limit county council's decision to appropriate monies.
So what we're looking, if we override the veto, then Fly Erie is going to get their money.
Correct.
Okay. If we don't override it, Fly Erie is not getting anything from the county.
Correct.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Winarski?
Yes. Mr. Tallarico, what were you trying to amend under the third section there?
Oh, yes.
Could amend possibly?
Yes, the amendment that I suggested was in the third line in the now therefore clause, that it should read number 64, 2024, which approved $150,000 for the Fly Erie Fund, LLC, period. And to eliminate the language that follows, because that's not what's in front of council. And it's not in front of council because the administration doesn't have the authority to say under what terms the money would be spent. His authority when it comes to vetoing is to either say yes or no. And he could say yes to this or no, and he did. He said no. Now, if he said no because he doesn't like, because it was a rainy day, that is not relevant. His reasons or his sentiments for saying no are not relevant.
So if we vote to override and he stays on the board, the money still stays restricted?
That's,
or am I lost somewhere?
If he serves on the board, and I doubt that he would, but if he did, then the fund doesn't get their money. Because council has restricted it.
Correct.
Does he have the right to appoint somebody to that board outside of county government or county employee. Correct?
No, he would not have the right to appoint to that board. That board would have the right. The board is who picks,
Okay,
actually, it's the Chamber of Commerce who has all these appointments. And Fly Erie Fund is simply a subsidiary. I don't know legally what the relationship between the two is, but the Fly Erie Fund, for all intents and purposes, is the Chamber of Commerce. And they would have the authority, but council does not have the authority to appoint members to other boards.
Correct.
so again, council, if we vote to override, Fly Erie will receive their money. If we don't vote to override, they're not gonna get any money. So if there's not any other discussion, I'll call for the question.
Mr. Chair,
Jim,
that doesn't stop us from revisiting it in 2025, as in even early 2025. Correct?
That's correct.
In the form of a supplemental appropriation.
anything else? Any other discussion, questions? Okay, we'll call for the question. Ms. Chilcott?
Okay, now, is this as it was written, or is this
We get,
an amendment to that?
so do we want to make an amendment to this?
I move to amend to remove the word restricted, replace the word restricted with approved, and to place the proper language in there as was put forth originally by council or by our solicitor.
Is there a second?
Yes, second.
Who seconded? Charlie?
Councilman Copeland?
Mr. Copeland, sorry. Do you need any discussion on that? Okay, call for the question on the amendment.
Mr. Horton?
Yes.
Mrs. Showerman?
No,
Mr. Winarski?
Yes.
Mr. Bale?
No.
Mr. Copeland?
Yes.
Mr. Drexel?
Yes.
Chairman Scatella?
Yes.
Okay, and that motion carries 5-2. So we're on to the main question as amended.
A motion,
So move.
Right.
Second.
any discussion on that? Call for the question. Oh, go ahead.
Point of order, we did have a motion and a second after the reading and then a discussion. So it would be Showerman and myself that were the motion and second on that ordinance already. Just wanted to make a point.
That's correct. That's what I have on the record here.
I called out the wrong name, I believe.
Okay, so I have a motion by Showerman, seconded by Copeland. Okay, Mr. Drexel?
Yes.
Mr. Horton?
Yes.
Mrs. Showerman?
no,
Mr. Winarski?
No.
Mr. Bale?
No.
Mr. Copeland?
Yes.
Chairman Scatella?
Yes.
And the motion to override fails by a vote of 4-3.
Motion to adjourn.
Just to remind you, that means what we just voted on, that Fly Erie will not receive money from the county. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And there was a motion to adjourn?
Yes, sir.
Correct.
We're adjourned. Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas, everybody.
Thank you.
Holiday, everybody.
Mary.